Since the end of the Cosmic Fury season, there has been a huge debate among all Power Rangers fans, and that is about the reboot of the franchise. Some fans are okay with the reboot, but I have seen many comments from fans who prefer the series to continue as it is. This may be because Cosmic Fury changed the whole game, as the producers decided to create something very different, and this perhaps gave the perception to fans that this style can work. Since Power Rangers started, they have always done basically the same thing in every season, and I'm not talking about the story or the characters, I'm talking about the whole system of creating the series. Every season has the same system, and that is basically this has become a template to have a new season every year. Some of the things that this format has is that each episode was repetitive and only some things in the story had a connection with the next episode. Even in many seasons you could watch an episode that was halfway through the season, and you would likely understand almost everything that was going on in the story. This is because in the Power Rangers seasons there is very little story, and they concentrate more on the action, the battles, the monsters, and the epic moments. Obviously, these are important things that every Power Rangers series should have, but this only works for a child audience. You must remember that Power Rangers was created for a kid audience, and kids don't care about long-term stories. They just want to see a simple story filled with lots of action. In the next episode there can be a completely new story that has no connection to the previous episode, and kids don't care at all. Even when an episode had a connection to the next episode, then they would give it the same title and just add that it was the second part. This obviously has its benefits, since you can watch any episode in any order and you will enjoy it in the same way. In addition to this, kids don't normally watch all the episodes in order. Sometimes they watch one and then don't watch the next 3 episodes, but then watch the series again starting on other episodes later. This format did not change completely in Cosmic Fury. This started to change a few seasons earlier, but on a smaller scale. For example, in Dino Fury we were able to have a complete story with the villain, Amelia's life, the planet Raf Khan, the Morphin Masters, and a few other things. All this formed the story little by little, although they still followed the same format of having a new monster in each episode and a final battle with the Megazord. To be precise, this was one of the things that changed in Cosmic Fury, because even though we had quite a few Megazord battles, the series was not following that repetitive format, and they concentrated more on the main story. The story was so important that you can't watch episode number 5 without having seen the previous 4 episodes, because you won't understand anything that is going on and you won't be able to enjoy that episode. This series must be watched in order, just like any other series for adults, since all the episodes are connected, and this is the normal format of a series. The children's shows have the same format that Power Rangers has used for 30 years, but Cosmic Fury used the format that a normal adult series has. Because of this, many adult fans began to believe that Power Rangers should continue down that path without having to reboot the franchise, since they think that Power Rangers only needed to make some small changes. One of these changes was to that Cosmic Fury format, and another change was everything they did in the special episode. Basically, keep doing other series or special episodes that might involve old Rangers, so they can create some alternate storylines that can then tie into the main series. Basically, this is something like what happened with Billy, in that we first saw him in the special episode and then we were able to have him in Cosmic Fury. It possibly wouldn't have been as impactful if Billy had appeared in Cosmic Fury without appearing in the special episode. This Mighty Morphin storyline got a lot of old fans reconnecting, and in Cosmic Fury we had the coming together of old fans with new fans. Since we hadn't seen Billy in action in a long time, seeing him in the special episode filled us in on what he had become and what he was still capable of. Besides that, It also brought us up to speed regarding the team's history and didn't leave us with all those doubts before we started watching Cosmic Fury. By the way, the same actor who plays Billy confirmed in his social media that Cosmic Fury happened after the events of the special episode, clearing all the doubts on that topic. The big question that many must be asking themselves is, should the reboot stop and the franchise continue with the Cosmic Fury format? What we will talk about from now on is only based on each person's opinion, since, in order to answer a question like this, one must have the statistics about the success or failure of Power Rangers and a study of what the franchise could be if it changes to a totally different format. Let's remember that the reboot is not only going to be changing the format of the series as they did in Cosmic Fury, but they are also going to change the audience to which the series is directed, and this is going to modify many other things. This will give the series the opportunity to be darker in its stories, to have more realistic things, and the opportunity to be more serious about many important things. An example of this is that the villains are basically a joke in Power Rangers, and this is normal because of the style of the series, but if they are going to create a series for adults, then the villains must be more serious. When I talk about serious villains, I mean that they are truly terrifying, that they are not telling silly jokes, and that they are not made to look like villains with little brains. Answering the question about stopping the reboot and continuing the franchise, I think there should be a reboot. Anything we have in life, after having seen the same thing for a long time, deserves a big change, but without losing the essence. This is something I have mentioned many times, and it is something that happens with anything in life. When something is good, it is due to its essence, and if you change that, then it is something new and not something different. I will give you a very simple example with one of my favorite superheroes. The essence of Flash is speed, his mother's death, and time travel. If you want to do a reboot of the character, then you can't take all that away. Maybe you can modify some things, but if for example you create a new Flash character that doesn't have speed and is just someone with super strength, then that's not Flash, that's a different character. This is the same thing that should not happen in the reboot, so they should do the reboot because Power Rangers has been in the same format for too long and it's time for a change. Besides this, times have changed, kids don't watch this kind of shows anymore, and those who are interested in watching superheroes are adults. I recently went to a Power Rangers convention that was for all ages, and more than 95% of the people were adults. There were almost no children. Of course, this is also due a bit to other factors such as parents not wanting to spend that kind of money taking their kids to something not very important to them, but, even so, you should expect that in a show created for a children's audience at a convention like that, at least 30% of the audience would be children. Power Rangers should already be created for an adult audience, and the reboot can be very beneficial to the franchise if they do it right and don't erase the essence of Power Rangers.